Supercell has released a new Town Hall about every 18 months for the last few years, but Town Hall 16 is getting released after just 14 months. So why are they an entire 4 months early? There are a couple of possible reasons for this, which we are going to be going over in this video, as well as some of the pros and cons of Town Hall 16 coming out so early. So let's get right into it. The biggest reason I can think of is the failure of Town Hall 15. This Town Hall came out in October of 2022 and was a major disappointment in many ways. The biggest reason for this was that this update introduced 2 whole new defenses, which were the spell towers and monoliths, and these 2 defenses were both very strong, especially the spell towers. But the problem was that there wasn't actually anything really that new offensive wise, meaning that the game just got stronger on the defense but not on the offense, and this caused it to become a lot harder for the average players. People had a really rough time trying to adapt to these new defenses with their normal armies that they used, and this really just killed off a lot of the strategies that people were used to using. And all of this really caused people to really just cap out at around the high 2-star range, with people getting 3 stars every once in a while, which was really just due to luck and not something that they had planned. And this overall just made the game frustrating and not feel very rewarding if you had to rely on luck for the 3 stars. Even the pro players were having a really tough time with this when it came out. There were pro players that would literally get 0 stars in tournaments, and there were barely any 3-star attacks in the World Finals that happened after the new Town Hall came out. And all of this really just caused people to think that Town Hall 15 was targeted just for the pro players, for them to have an actual challenge in the game. And this was reflected in the statistics of the game as well. Back when Town Hall 15 came out, there were about 100 million average monthly players. But over the course of the last 14 months, that number has dropped almost 20% down to 80 million players, which is a significant amount for only about 1 year. While there are obviously a lot of other factors that come into play for this drop, I'd say the biggest reason is probably just the fact that Town Hall 15 was too hard for most players, which made the game less fun and made people just not want to play because they knew they would have no chance to get 3 stars on an enemy base. And I believe that this is one of the biggest reasons that Supercell is pushing out Town Hall 16 so early. It is because the players are just leaving once they get to Town Hall 15 and have played it for a little bit. Another reason that Town Hall 16 is coming out early could be because the team working on the game has expanded quite a bit, which could cause them to just be finished earlier. This is the first time that they've really expanded the team so much, with them adding around 10 more new people, including a chief marketing officer that used to work in Mojang. This would obviously lead to them finishing things faster and just getting a bunch more work done, with one of those obviously being Town Hall 16. So they could just be doing it because they finished faster than they normally do, which used to be the 18-month mark. But this could also be them trying something new, since they have a bunch more people working on and influencing the direction the Clash of Clans goes in. Because they have more people, they could be trying to add more content into the game faster than they normally did, in hopes to increase the player count again and make the game more fast-paced. If this is the approach they're going for, then I'm pretty excited for it, because new content is obviously nice and it'll be interesting to see how they end up doing it. And another reason could be that this is just a money grab. Now, I don't mean that in any sort of negative way, saying that the new Town Hall isn't going to be good, but I'm just saying that because now is realistically the perfect time to make money. This is because people will be spending money because of the holidays. With Supercell releasing Town Hall 16 now in early December, they give enough time until Christmas or even before that for people to just buy a ton of their special offers that they always have to progress their new Town Hall. This would really be the perfect timing, because this is when people would have the most stuff to buy and the most need to buy things, because they will have pretty much everything in the game to upgrade. And this isn't just for Town Hall 16. This could also cause people to spend money so they can speed through their current Town Hall to get closer to 16, especially because I imagine a lot of people will want to just skip Town Hall 15 as fast as they can. And obviously this would be a really smart business move by Supercell, and could be because of their new CFO like I mentioned earlier. If they had stuck to the normal 18-month timeline, the new Town Hall would have came out sometime around April, and that is one of the lowest months for profit for a lot of companies, and is when they normally scale back a lot of their marketing and operations. So this just wouldn't have worked well if Supercell were thinking about profits, because at the end of the day, they are a business that is trying to make money. And that is one reason as to why I think they are releasing the new Town Hall 4 months early. So those were just 3 of the biggest reasons I could think of as to why Town Hall 16 was coming out so early. But now let's look at some of the pros and cons as to the early release of the Town Hall. Starting off with the good things, we will get to move on from Town Hall 15 and hopefully get something much better. I already explained why Town Hall 15 was so bad at the beginning of the video, so I'm not going to go over all of it again. But basically this will be a nice way for the current Town Hall 15 players to get a breath of fresh air and hopefully adopt new and much more fun and rewarding metas in the game. And another good thing with this update will be for the players who are at Town Hall 14 or lower, because with every new Town Hall, the upgrade times and costs are typically reduced for the lower Town Hall levels to make the game more balanced and less grindy for the lower Town Hall players, which lets them upgrade faster and progress much faster throughout the game, which is something that no one can really complain about. But you could also argue that it might make the game more overwhelming for the lower players, so it's just up to you on how you see it. Though either way, getting through the lower Town Hall levels will still be faster. Another good thing could be that this might signal the start of a new era of Supercell and Clash of Clans, where they might try to make the game faster paced and add even more updates to make the game more enjoyable, which can be supported by the fact that they've increased the size of their team quite a bit. But now let's get to some of the possible cons of this new update. The biggest con is obviously that a lot of people just don't really feel ready for it, and you can't really blame them because it has been an expectation for so long that you will get a new Town Hall every 18 or so months, and people would plan around that. But this announcement came as a surprise to a ton of people, which kind of threw them off and threw their whole rhythm off, and some people really just did not like this. And another possible bad thing about the update coming early is that it could just end up being rushed. And this goes back to what I was saying about them doing it for the money in December. They could have just rushed the update and left some unfinished or just unpolished features in the game, which will overall be really bad. They have made big mistakes before with new Town Halls, with the biggest example probably being Town Hall 11, which ended up being bad because there were some big mistakes and they had published it right before the holidays and were basically just on vacation while the game descended into chaos. So that is for sure a big possibility with this new update and one of the biggest risks. But that is also it for this video. Let me know down in the comments if you like that it is coming out 4 months early, or if you think that they should have just done it at 18 months like usual.